Hey everybody, and welcome. This is the Shy Hat, and it is December 13th, 2023, and we're going through the TryHackMe Advent of Cyber daily beginner cybersecurity challenges today on this channel. So it is day 13 today, and that means we're covering intrusion detection. We're also going to be covering firewalls and honeypots as a cybersecurity measure. All right, so if you want to join in this in doing these challenges, you can do so at the following link that I'm dropping in the chat right now. Okay, so the first thing we want to do when we're going through this challenge for each day is to start up the machine that is associated with the challenge. You can do so by clicking on the green Start Machine button over here. Okay, so we can dismiss these other messages over here. All right, and we also need to start our attack box for today's activity. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go up to the top of the page, and we're going to click on Start Attack Box over here. And that's going to split the screen in half. And on the right-hand side, on this pane, there's going to be the TryHackMe webpage. On the left-hand side is going to be the attack box virtual machine that we're going to be using to investigate the virtual machine that we're spinning up for today's challenge. All right, so while we're waiting for this machine to initialize, we can go back down here and take a look at what we're going to be learning in today's task. So our learning objectives. In today's task, you will learn to understand incident analysis through the diamond model. We're going to identify defensive strategies that can be applied to the diamond model. And we're going to learn how to set up firewall rules and a honeypot as defensive strategies. Okay, so what do we need to do to do today's challenge? Do we need to start the attack box today? Yes. And do we need to start a VM today? Yes. Okay, are we given credentials to connect directly to the VM via RDP, VNC, or SSH? Yes, we are. Okay, so later on, we're going to be using these credentials to access the test machine. It's going to be username Van Winkle, Van Twinkle is going to be password Twinkle Star, and it's going to be this IP address. The IP address here is not going to be the same as your IP address, most likely. So try to access the IP address that's shown in your instance instead. So let's do an introduction. Intrusion detection and prevention is a critical component of cybersecurity aimed at identifying and mitigating threats. When set up early, intrusion detection becomes a proactive security measure. However, in our story, the Best Festival company has developed ways to improve their security given the magnitude of their recent breaches. In this epic task, we'll embark on a thrilling journey through fundamental concepts, detection strategies, and the application of the diamond model of intrusion analysis and defensive security. Okay, so we see that our attack box VM has spun up over here. We're going to click into here and press enter to dismiss this message. And then we're going to put this attack box virtual machine in its own browser tab. And we can do so by clicking on this button right here at the bottom, which is labeled View Full Screen. So we click on that, and we see that our virtual machine here is in its own browser tab, and then we can go back to the original browser tab and then click on this button here, also at the bottom, which is labeled Exit Split View. So we click on that, and then we have both our TryHackMe webpage and our virtual machine in separate browser tabs, which is way more convenient for showing you guys the information here. All right, so let's talk about incident analysis. So consider the cyber threat events that have recently taken place within the Best Festival company and Antarcticrafts. We have identified clues and artifacts, but we've yet to piece them together to lead us to the attacker. We need a framework to profile the attacker, understand their motives, understand their moves, and help us strengthen our defenses. So the Diamond model is a security analysis framework that seasoned professionals use to unravel the mysteries of adversary operations and identify the elements used in an intrusion. It comprises 4 core facets interconnected to form a well-orchestrated blueprint of the attacker's plans. Okay, so the 4 facets are adversary, victim, infrastructure, and capability. We'll wield the knowledge we gained from the previous days of Advent of Cyber to unlock the secrets hidden within these core features. Okay, so the first section is adversary. In our exciting storyline, we have discovered the suspected insider threat causing trouble within the Best Festival company and interfering with the proposed merger with Antarcticrafts. This individual, who we'll call the adversary operator, is not just an ordinary troublemaker. They're the clever attackers or malicious threat actors responsible for cyber attacks or intrusions. Adversary operators can be an individual or an entire organization aiming to disrupt the operations of another. All right, so there is not only one type of adversary. The adversary customer is another intriguing player in this grand scheme. They are the ones who reap the benefits from the cyber attack and can consolidate the efforts of various adversary operators. Picture this: a collection of adversaries working together to orchestrate widespread security breaches, just like the enigmatic Advanced Persistent Threat, or APT groups. Okay, so what is the next thing we talk about? Are the victims. This is none other than the target of the adversary's wicked intentions. It could be a single individual or domain or entire organization with multiple network and data assets. The Best Festival company finds itself at the mercy of these adversaries, and we must shield them from further harm. The next section is infrastructure. Every adversary needs tools. They require software or hardware to execute their malicious objectives. Infrastructure represents the physical and logical interconnections that an adversary employs. Our story takes an interesting twist as we uncover the USB drive that Tracy McCready cunningly plugged in, disrupting Santa's meticulously crafted plans. But beware, adversarial infrastructure can be owned and controlled by adversaries or even intermediaries like service providers. And the last section here is capability. What capability these adversaries have, what skills, tools, and techniques they employ. Here, we will shine a light on their tactics, techniques, and procedures, otherwise known as TTPs, that shape adversaries' devious endeavors. Intruders or adversaries may employ various tactics, techniques, and procedures for malicious activities. Some examples include phishing. Adversaries may use deceptive emails or messages to trick individuals into revealing sensitive information or clicking on malicious links. Exploiting vulnerabilities. Adversaries can exploit weaknesses or vulnerabilities in software, systems, or networks to gain unauthorized access or perform malicious actions. This was very well showcased on AOC Day 10, where we covered SQL injections as one of the techniques used. Social engineering. This involves manipulating individuals through psychological tactics to gain unauthorized access or obtain confidential information. Malware attacks. Adversaries may deploy malicious malware such as viruses, worms, or ransomware to gain control over systems or steal data. Insider threat. This refers to individuals within an organization who misuse their access privileges to compromise systems, steal data, or disrupt operations. Denial of service attacks. Adversaries may overwhelm a target system or network with excessive traffic or requests, causing it to become unresponsive or crash. So now we're going to talk about the defensive diamond model. But fear not, for we shall not be mere observers in this cosmic battle. We will harness the power of the diamond model's components, particularly capability and infrastructure, for our defensive endeavors. We will forge the Best Festival company into a formidable defender, no longer a hapless victim. Defensive capability. It is said that the best defense is the best offense. In the quest for protection against adversaries, the Best Festival company must equip itself with powerful defensive capabilities. Two key elements of this are threat hunting and vulnerability management. Threat hunting is a proactive and iterative process led by skilled security professionals to actively search for signs of malicious activities or security weaknesses within the organization's networking systems. Organizations can detect adversaries early in their attack lifecycle by conducting regular threat hunts. Threat hunters analyze behavioral patterns, identify advanced threats, and improve incident response. Developing predefined hunting playbooks and fostering collaboration among teams ensures a systematic and efficient approach to threat hunting. Vulnerability management is a structured process of identifying, assessing, prioritizing, mitigating, and monitoring vulnerabilities in an organization's systems and applications. Regular vulnerability scanning helps identify weaknesses that adversaries could exploit, prioritizing vulnerabilities based on their severity and potential impact, promptly patching or remedying vulnerabilities, and maintaining an up-to-date asset inventory is essential. Continuous monitoring, integration with threat intelligence feeds, and periodic penetration testing further strengthens the organization's security posture. Meanwhile, reporting and accountability provide visibility into security efforts. By integrating threat hunting and vulnerability management, organizations can proactively defend against adversaries, detect threats early, and reduce the attack surface. These defensive capabilities form a solid foundation for incident response and ensure the best possible defense for the best festival company. Okay, so we're taking a look at defensive infrastructure. The best festival company will construct their bastion of defense, fortified with tools and infrastructure to repel cyber attacks. Layer upon layer of hardware and software will be deployed, ranging from intrusion defense and prevention systems to robust anti-malware solutions. The objective is to impede attackers by limiting their operations to predetermined paths and disrupting their malicious actions with increased noise. This strategy serves as a deterrent to the attacker, making it more difficult for them to carry out their intended activities and providing an opportunity for detection and response. By implementing this approach, organizations can strengthen their cybersecurity posture and reduce the risk of successful attacks. In this section, we'll guide Van Twinkle on her quest to understand two essential components of defense infrastructure: mighty firewalls and cunning honeypots. So what are firewalls? The mighty firewall is a guardian of networks and sentinel of cybersecurity. This network security device stands vigilant, monitoring and controlling the ebb and flow of incoming and outgoing network traffic. With its predetermined security rules, a firewall can repel a wide range of threats, from unauthorized access to malicious traffic, and even attempts to breach sensitive data. Firewalls come in many forms, including hardware, software, or a combination. Their presence is vital, a cornerstone of any cybersecurity defense strategy. The following are some common types of firewalls that exist. Stateless or packet filtering. This firewall provides the most straightforward function by inspecting and filtering individual network packets based on a set of rules that would point to a source or destination IP address, ports, and protocols. The firewall doesn't consider any context of each connection when making decisions and effectively blocks denial of service attacks and port scans. Stateful inspection. This firewall is more sophisticated. It is used to track the state of network connections and uses this information to make filtering decisions. For example, if a packet being channeled to the network is part of an established connection, the stateful firewall will let it pass through. However, the packet will be blocked if it is not part of an established connection. Proxy service. This firewall protects the network by filtering message at the application layer, providing deep packet inspection and more of a granular control over traffic content. The firewall can block access to certain websites or block the transmission of specific types of files. And web application, the next firewall type is the Web Application Firewall, or WAF. This firewall is designed to protect web applications. WAFs block common web attacks such as SQL injection, cross-site scripting, and denial of service attacks. And the last type of firewall we're taking a look at here is next generation firewall. This firewall combines the functionalities of the stateless, stateful, and proxy firewalls with features such as intrusion detection and prevention, and content filtering. For the remainder of this task, we're going to focus on one application of a stateful inspection firewall in the form of the uncomplicated firewall, or UFW. Okay, so configuring firewalls to block traffic. Van Twinkle knows that the uncomplicated firewall is the default firewall configuration tool available on Ubuntu hosts, and she decides to use it for this experiment. Initially, it's turned off by default, so we can check the status by running the command below. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to run these commands on our own. We're going to run these commands after connecting to the VM via our attack box. So inside the attack box, we're going to open up a terminal. So click on this. Inside the attack box, we can click on this shortcut button or this shortcut button to open up a terminal. Also this shortcut button. So we're going to click on one of these, and then I'm going to make this this terminal window nice and big. 2, 3, 4. Maybe bigger. Okay. Yeah, this big should be. All right, so we're going to make this nice and big so that we can see the commands that we're typing in. All right, and we're going to attempt to connect to the machine using SSH. I think the username is Van Twinkle. Okay, and it is at. Let me get the IP address. Okay, so we copy that, and then we copy in our IP address for the test server. Okay, press enter, type in yes, and the password is going to be, I do believe it's the word twinkle star. Twinkle star. Okay, so once again, if you don't remember the username or password, we can get it up at the beginning of the task, located right here. So the username and the password and the IP of the server is located right here. So that's where you'll get it if you forget. All right, so we're going to go back down. So since the firewall is a privileged program, we have to use the sudo command to use any of these commands. So we're going to copy this command, and we're going to paste it. Let's clear this. Okay, so we can see here, and then we're going to paste this in. Okay, we have to supply the password for Van Twinkle. Twinkle star. Okay, and we see that the status of the firewall is inactive. All right, so we're going to go back to the web page. So we currently don't have any rules, so we can define rules to allow or block traffic. These can be set to deny all incoming connections or allow outgoing connections. Okay, so there are two commands here. Sudo uncomplicated firewall default allow outgoing. So this is going to allow all outgoing traffic into the firewall rules. So we're going to copy that and then go back to our attack box and paste this in. Remember, when you paste into a terminal, into a Linux terminal, you have to use Control-Shift-V instead of just Control-V to paste commands into the terminal. All right, so run the command, and the response is default outgoing policy changed to allow. All right, and then we're going to use this command, and this command is going to deny, by default, deny all incoming traffic. So we're going to copy that and run this inside of our machine. Okay, default incoming policy changed to deny. So we're going to allow traffic going outside of the server, but we're going to deny traffic coming into the server. Additionally, we can add we can add, modify, and delete rules by specifying an IP address, port number, service name, or protocol. In this example, we can add a rule to allow legitimate incoming connections to port 22, which would allow connectivity via SSH. Remember, we should get two confirmation messages indicating that the rule has been implemented for IPv4 and IPv6 connections. Okay, so this command is going to allow port 22 traffic over TCP. All right, so copy that, paste this in, and run the command. All right, so it says rules updated, and this should be for IPv4, and then rules updated for IPv6. And we're going to clear this again. Firewall rules can get more complex, incorporating specific IP addresses, subnets, or even specific network interfaces. So this command over here is going to deny all traffic from this particular IP address. So we're going to copy this, and we're going to paste this in, and it says rules updated. So this means that all incoming traffic from this particular IP address is going to be denied. Okay, and this command here is, so this is going to deny incoming traffic from the Ethernet 0 interface from this particular IP address. All right, so we're going to copy that and run that. Once we've added our rules, we can enable the service and check the rule set. Okay, so now we're going to turn on our firewall by using this command, ufw enable. Okay, proceed with operation, press yes, press Y for yes. Okay, the firewall is now active and enabled on system startup. That's what we want. And then we're going to use this command, ufw status verbose, to see all of the firewall rules that we've implemented in the previous commands. All right, so we're going to copy this and run it. Okay, so it says status active, logging on. Logging is on, low. Default actions are deny incoming, allow outgoing, and disable routed. So we see here TCP22. It's going to allow the traffic in from anywhere. From anywhere, it's going to deny in. Okay, so I guess this is the port. So any port, any interface is going to deny incoming connections from this particular IP address here. Okay, and anywhere on ETH0 interface is going to deny incoming connections from this IP address here. And TCP port 22 v6. I said it's going to be v6 and v4, I guess, here. And it's going to allow incoming traffic from anywhere on port 22. So what happens if the rules are incorrectly configured? We can reset the firewall and revert its default state and be able to configure the rules fresh. Okay, so this command here is going to reset all the rules. So let's copy that and let's reset all the rules. So I'm going to clear this. Paste in the command, and resetting all rules to install defaults. This may disrupt existing SSH connections. Proceed with operation. Yes. Okay, and we're going to get the system status for the firewall again, and it should be all reset. So the firewall is inactive. Okay, so that was expected. At this point, Van Twinkle has a much deeper understanding of how to set up and configure firewall rules to help McHoneybell implement Santa's defenses. All right, so the next thing we're going to be talking about is the honeypot. This is another intriguing piece of infrastructure in the world of defensive security. Picture a trap laid for the attackers, a mirage of vulnerability tempting them away from the true treasures. Behold, the honeypot. A honeypot is a cybersecurity mechanism, a masterful deception. It presents itself as an alluring target to the adversaries, drawing them away from the true prizes. Honeypots come in various forms: software applications, servers, or entire networks. They are designed to mimic legitimate targets, yet they are under the watchful control of the defender. For the best festival company, envision a honeypot masquerading as Santa's website, a perfect replica of the real one. Honeypots can be classified into two main types. Low interaction honeypots. These honeypots artfully mimic simple systems like web servers or databases. They gather intelligence on attacker behavior and detect new attack techniques. And high interaction honeypots. These honeypots take deception to new heights, emulating complex systems like operating systems and networks. They collect meticulous data on attack behavior and study their techniques to exploit vulnerabilities. To demonstrate how to set up a honeypot, we'll use a tool called PenTBox, which has already been installed on the VM under this directory right here. We're going to launch the tool via the directory demonstrated below. Select option 2 for network tools and follow with option 3 to install the honeypot. So we're going to run this command over here by copying this and then going to the virtual machine. I'm going to clear this screen again and then pasting in the command. Okay, and this is going to run the honeypot program. Oh, that's a directory. Okay, so we're going to change into the directory and then take a look at what's here. Okay, so let's follow the instructions of the task. So this is the command. This was the directory where the honeypot software is located. Sorry about that, guys. All right, so we're going to copy this command, and then we're going to run this command. And what we need to do is we need to follow, let's see, we're going to select option 2 and then option 3. So option 2, network tools, and then option 3, honeypot. When we select the option to set up the honeypot, we can choose to set up an auto configuration or manual configuration. The manual configuration offers more options to allocate which port to open and a custom message for the honeypot to display. Accompanying these messages, log data will be collected and displayed on the terminal with each intrusion encountered. With the active honeypot, we can attempt to connect to the VM by navigating to this IP address, which is going to be different for everybody on the specific port on the attack box browser. You can see the custom message crafted from the honeypot. Once connected, the intrusion will trigger an alert on the honeypot, and a log will be created showing the attacking IP and port. Okay, so let's see. We're going to go for manual configuration, and then we're going to open port 8080, and we're going to insert the false message to display over here. So on the attack machine, we're going to choose 2 manual configuration, and then we're going to choose to open port 8080, and then we're going to copy the message from over here. Okay, we're going to copy this, and then we're going to paste it in. Save a log with intrusions. We're going to type yes. Okay, log file name. We're going to choose the this default right here. Activate beep sound when intrusion. We're going to choose yes. Okay, saving log error, no such file or directory. I guess I inputted this incorrectly. Well, when you do this, why don't you just press enter and it should select the default location. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to trigger the honeypot by going to, we're going to open up the browser in our attack box, and we can do so by going over to the edge over here and selecting this Firefox browser shortcut button. All right, so our Firefox browser opens up, and we're going to do http:// and then 8080. Okay, so remember that we need to, between the IP address and the port, we need to include this colon right here. This colon right here. And then we're going to press enter to access it. Okay, and we see that we get the message that we configured for the honeypot over here, which means it's working. If we close out our web browser, it says intrusion attempt, it says intrusion attempt detected from this particular IP address. If we look up at the attack box IP, this is the same IP address as over here, so it logged our connection attempt, and the port over here is kind of a random port. You don't have to worry about that, and it also notes the type of web browser we used when we were accessing it. All right. So you should see the custom message crafted from the honeypot. Once connected, the intrusion will trigger an alert on the honeypot, and the log will be created showing the attacking IP and port. All right. So the last thing we have to do for the day is we have to complete Van Twinkle's challenge. So after learning about firewalls and honeypots, Van Twinkle puts his knowledge into practice and sets up a simple website to be hidden behind some firewall rules. You can deploy the firewall rules by executing the Van Twinkle rules.sh script within the home Van Twinkle directory. Your task is to update the firewall rules to expose the website to the public and find a hidden flag. All right, so what we can do is we can copy this directory here, and then we're going to exit out of the honeypot program by using the Control-C shortcut, and that's going to exit. So it's Control-C to exit, and we're going to clear the screen, and we're going to go to the directory where the script is. We're going to ls to list out the contents, and we see that the script that they were talking about in the on the web page is here. We can run the script with I think this is something you have to do with sudo, and then // and then vantwinklerules.sh. Okay, when we run the script, it's going to ask if we want to proceed with the operation. Press yes. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to get the firewall rules by getting the firewall status. Which command do we do? So this is the command to get the firewall status. Okay, so we see here that there are a bunch of different firewall rules. So it allows in for port 80 and port 22 from anywhere. It denies for port 21, port 8088, and 8090 from anywhere. So what we need to do is we need to open up these ports, because the task said that there is a web page that we're supposed to access. So what we can do is we can do the following commands. So ufc, ufw, and we have to run these all with sudo. So ufw 8088 /tcp. Oh, sorry, we need allow before that. So we're going to allow this particular port, and then we're going to allow the same, we're going to do the same command, but we're going to do it on port 8090. Okay, and then we can try to access these web pages on those particular ports. So we can go back to our web browser. And we can access port 8088. I'm going to put in HTTP at the beginning just in case. And we're going to see if there's anything here. There might not be anything here. This might be a red herring. And it looks like it's not connecting. So we're going to try the same thing, but with 8090. Okay, so this port does have a web page associated with it. Okay, so before we finish the challenge, before we investigate this further, we're going to take a look at the questions for today's task. All right, so question 1 is, what security model is being used to analyze the breach and defense strategies? So if you remember from the lecture way back at the top, it's the diamond model. Okay, the next question is, which defense capability is used to actively search for signs of malicious activity? In this case, it is called threat hunting. What are our main 2 infrastructure focuses? Okay, so this answer format is answer 1 and then answer 2. So we're taking a look at firewalls and honeypots today. Firewalls and honeypots. The next question is, which firewall command is used to block traffic? Okay, so if we remember from the commands we were putting in, the command to block traffic is deny. And there is a flag in one of these stories. Can you find it? All right, so by stories, what they mean is these stories inside of this blog over here on the website that we configured the firewall to allow us to see. So what we can do is we can search for the flag prefix of TryHackMe challenge flags, which is THM. So we can do Control F to search within the page, and then type in THM, and then that gets us our flag. Okay, so from YouTube, Hey Dreamer 1991 says hi, and also says I can't connect to my THM IP on Firefox on Attacker Box. Okay, so all right, so let's try to solve this problem. So they can't connect to the THM IP in Firefox. The page is error SSL. Okay, no. What you need to do is you need to prefix it. Oh, let me get rid of this. You need to prefix the everything here with HTTP and not HTTPS. So HTTP instead of HTTPS is going to get you the result you want. if you try to do HTTPS, it's not going to work because apparently it doesn't have an SSL certificate, which is associated with HTTPS. So please, hey Dreamer, nice to see you here again. Welcome. And if you resolve your problem, please tell me. All right. So once again, let's search for that flag. So THM, and the flag is right here. We can copy this. We can highlight it and copy it. And then go back to the web page and paste it in and click submit. All right, so the last question here doesn't require an answer, so we can just click on completed. So hey Dreamer, before we finish out, did you manage to access your machine IP on Firefox? Port okay, so port 8080 okay is working. Okay, so the thing that you need to do said that was unable to connect. Okay, so inside of here, you shouldn't be able to access 8080, but well, actually, you should be able to access 8080. Okay. Oh, right. So you can't. So what step are you on? Hey Dreamer 1991. Because we've been messing around with the firewall rules during. So if you take a look at the rules for when we run the script, you can see that that 8080 is not included on this list, so it's not going to have a web page. But after you run the script, you allow port 8088, which is this one right here, and you allow port 8090, which is this one right here. So you need to do these two commands. You need to allow this port, and you have to allow this port. And you have to make sure that you're using the correct format. So make sure to always put HTTP : / at the inside the bar. And the web page that we're looking for is on port 8090. And you have to make sure to put in the colon between the IP address and the port number. So if you do all that, and then you press enter, then you should be able to see the hidden web page. Well, all right. I think that's all we have time for today. We finished today's task. We learned about honeypots and we learned about firewalls in today's challenge. Let's see. Hey Dreamer 1999 says 8080 is working for me. I saw my created message, but I didn't reach the site. Okay, so hey Dreamer, what you need to do is you need to do some extra firewall rules. So what you need to do is you need to run I'm gonna paste in the command that you need to run. Let's see, and what is the script called? It's called vantwinklerules.sh. So I'm going to paste this in. Whoops. So you need to do, so slash home slash van twinkle slash van twinkle, and you have to run this as sudo. So you run this, and then you press yes. And then you update the firewall rules, and then you have to do allow, sudo ufw allow 8090/TCP. Okay, run that. And that's going to give, that's going to change the firewall rules again, and it's going to allow traffic on port 8090. And then you have to go to your Firefox browser, and then you have to navigate to the web page, but you have to make sure to use HTTP because the default might be HTTPS. Okay, so try that out and tell me if it works for you. Okay, so while we're waiting on that response, I'd like to take a second and plug my YouTube channel for just a bit. So if you go to youtube.com/@theshyhat, I run a cybersecurity education channel where you can take a look at all sorts of very beginner-friendly interactive, well, they're not interactive, they're educational videos. And we have 3 courses right now, which are web app hacking and Linux OS operations. The web app hacking videos are green, the Linux OS operations videos are red, and the Python programming videos are blue. So you can watch the videos, and they're going to introduce some basic cybersecurity skills to you in a very beginner-friendly way. But I think we're going to have to end the stream now because we finished our task for today. But thank you very much for coming by and running through the exercise with us. Thank you very much to HeyDreamer1991 for coming by and asking questions. I'm happy to answer any questions I can. And until tomorrow, when we're going to solve another Advent of Cyber challenge. Have a great day, and we will see you next time.